Beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna listen to quite a few different types of music today. Just to talk about some interpretative things. Because we took that test last week. Kaylee, you were here for that pre-test, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have it. I also didn't have Jordan's. So that could be my fault. If you can look around and see if you have it still and get it to me at some point, I appreciate it. But yeah. Speaking of the pretest, I wanted to start this off with a little bit talking about the pretest. I got a lot of like cool different answers for why people listen to music. Excuse me. And what different types of music people listen to. I just wanted to ask, I didn't really ask this on the test, but for the music that you like, do you have any particular reason for liking it, do you think? What would that reason be? Any ideas? No? Oh, sorry, Aiden?
Just how you're feeling that day.
Okay, yeah, I very much agree. Like, I often listen to music based on like what I'm feeling on a specific day, time. Anyone else? Jonathan?
The beat.
The beat? You like the beat? Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah. The what? The vibe. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I get that. Cool. Is there any reason that you don't like certain types of music?
There's some types of music that was forced onto me.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that. I think forcing is like a bad, as much as I'm kind of forcing you to listen to music today, I feel like forcing is a bad way to get people to like certain types of music. Anyone else?
Songs where they're just screaming.
Screamo. Well, see, but some people like that kind of stuff. I don't as much myself. I like some of it. I go back and forth sometimes on it, but yeah, I can understand that. Is it just like too intense? Is it too harsh? You don't like that kind of thing?
It doesn't have melody.
Melody. Okay, I see. Anyone else?
I just don't like country music. It's just
Okay, I was about to ask. I was actually leading to my next point. Thank you. That a lot of people, you know, we're pretty broad in the music that they don't like, but it's, a lot of those people listed two types of music as what the ones they don't like. One of them was country, and the other was like classical. Is there any reason that you guys don't like those genres specifically?
black music.
It's boring.
Classical is boring. Oh, that hurts my heart. But it can. Elizabeth?
Like I don't really even try country just because of how many people like
Yeah, see, that's
I like know that are like not with it.
Okay, so it's like a social thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the bias against it.
Yeah, I get that, and I mean that's something I've worked on myself too. Like, I'm trying to get into some more. I still don't like giant country artists, but I'm still trying to listen. I generally like more indie artists myself, and so I'm trying to listen to smaller time country more. But yeah, I totally agree. There can be sort of like a social bias against some types of music. Also depending on which group that you're in. Yeah. Is there anyone that wants to share their answers for why, excuse me, why they listen to music? I got a lot of great answers on that. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. I just wanted to know if there's anyone who wants to share their answers.
I mainly listen to music just because it's like an escape from the real world. It gives like that little safe space where you can be yourself and have no one else to judge you.
Yeah, I love that. Quite a few people said the same thing. I really love that. Anyone else? Sorry. Yeah.
Music is kind of like a language that we all can speak and that we all understand.
Yeah.
So there's like really no barriers,
Mm.
except like, of course, some people don't like that type of genre of music, but
Yeah.
it's something that we all can connect with.
Yeah, and I love that because I do agree. It's like everyone can understand music, but also what I love about music is that everyone kind of takes away something different from it, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Is some methods for how we can like interpret music, and this is just a very basic crash course. But yeah, it's like I do love that it's like everyone takes something away from it. So there isn't a lot of room up here. I think Jasmine is using this, so I'll just kind of go in this corner. Okay. How do I want to do this? One sec. Where's Mr. Wells? Is he still here? Dang. Dang. Okay. I'll just bring here. Can everyone see it if I'm like over here? If I write stuff in this kind of corner? So we're gonna talk about some like components of music. That is two things. Oh, this is a terrible marker. So, can anyone give me some like components of music? And I'm not talking about like notes or dynamics or something. Stuff that's printed on the page. I'm talking about stuff that like when you listen to music, what you listen to.
Depth, rhythm.
Depth, rhythm. That's a good one. Rhythm. I'm also going to include in that pulse. Anyone else? Any other ideas? Melody, yeah. Awesome. Any other ideas? Rhythm and melody. Those are two central things, but there's still more that I could think of. When you guys write your music and you have the 1s, 4s, and 5s, what's that called? Oh, maybe. Right, but like the whole structure of different sort of lines. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that very well. What I'm trying to get is harmony, right? Music is harmony. There's also two others that I want to talk about today. There's probably more than these 5 that I'm going to talk about today. But there's 2 others that aren't immediately obvious. We're also going to talk about counter melody, which is related to melody. And then we're going to talk about texture, which is kind of a complicated concept that we might delve back into at a later date. But I want to get an intro to it today. So the first one we're going to talk about right now is melody. The first example I have, does everyone know, I think Wind Ensemble did it last year, but Jupiter from the Planets? Yeah. Yeah. If you're not familiar with it, that's all right, but I thought this would be a good example. Right, but it's like you can kind of like sing along to that part that the low strings are playing. So that's kind of like what a melody is. If you unless you know what it is. I need to stop it, but I don't want it to because it's so pretty. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a lot of clips here. We're just going to do some really short clips, just kind of go through them. The second one, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of the band Waxahachie. They're just kind of indie group. I just wanted to ask, listen to the beginning of this. Is there any melody before the vocals come in? Came in? How many people think there was? How many people think there wasn't? Okay, those of you that thought there was melody, what did you think played it? Where is it in the like that thing? Okay, were you going to say the same thing?
What?
That kind of thought, the part that you thought was the melody? Is that like sort of the top line. That was kind of staying the same. Okay. Let's listen to it one more time. some of the inner moving voices in the chords. Because I would say that I don't think there's really a melody in this section. It's mostly just guitar chords that are changing and moving, sure, but it's not really like a melody, like when the vocals come in.
I spent all my time learning how to defeat.
So you're like when the vocals come in, like that's more of a melody. What am I talking about? Does that make sense? Okay. So that's enough about melody. That's the one you guys are probably most familiar with. So now we're going to talk about counter melody. Does anyone know offhand what counter melody is? Yeah, awesome. Yeah, counter melody is like kind of what it's a melody in its own right, but it kind of works with the main melody. The example I have for this, the first one is it's another Gustav Holst, but the first suite in E flat. You guys ever heard that? It's a very famous band piece. It's one of my favorite band pieces. But here's the here's the beginning of it. So you got this line of the low brass. How like the low brass still has that same melody, but now the trumpets are playing something else above it. Now the woodwinds are playing another different melody, but still the first one. In more band music, but I did find an example in sort of more popular music. Does anyone know who Sufjan Stevens is? He's another kind of relatively unknown person. This is one of his songs. So much louder. So not this part yet, but so even though this part's kind of sparse, I would call this a melody. The first melody is still going on. This is sort of accompanying sound. Sort of. So yeah, that's enough of counter melody. Let's talk next about the last sort of one related to like pitch. Let's talk about rhythm and I completely lied. Harmony. I was like top of list, but no. Harmony. So can anyone tell me what harmony is? Like just offhand. So harmony can refer to either another line that sort of moves with the main melody, but the way I'm going to discuss it more is about sort of what you've been talking about in class, like the structure of a song, like the 1s, 4s, and 5s and sorts of things. So I also believe the high school, one of the bands played this at some point, Luke Sarunke. Okay. It's a choral piece, but there's a transcription for band. This is like a virtual choir thing that the composer did. sort of just like all those different voices and like how they kind of interact with each other. There's nothing like different happening like with melody and counter melody, but they're all still sort of like working with each other. Cool. So that's pretty obvious, and a lot of times, harmony kind of like works to accompany the main like melody. But it might not always be obvious. I'm gonna play another song, and I want you to try to tell me which part you think is playing the harmony. There's gonna be a guitar part that kind of arpeggiates, and there's gonna be sort of like a long sustained guitar part. Try to tell me which one you think is more playing the harmony here.
I'm staying in tonight.
So how many people think it's that moving guitar part, that do 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 do? How many people think that's the harmony? How many people think that longer sustained guitar part's the harmony? Awesome, thanks. I would say the same thing, because that guitar part is just, it's playing a chord, but it's kind of just staying the same the whole time. The other one's kind of moving through different chords. Nice, good job, everyone. The next part, let's talk about the fun thing, the beats, the rhythm and the pulse. And so, I like to use pulse more because that's sort of more the feeling, excuse me, the feeling of what's happening. So the first song I have is just one with a super strong pulse. It's really slow pulse, but it's pretty strong. Does anyone know the band Voltec? No, okay. They're cool, like, kind of funk band, sort of thing. It's kind of like an intro thing.
Baby, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you.
So yeah, so it's like, it's pretty obvious, right? It's like they're kind of playing each quarter note, and it's like they're always playing that.
Just sleeping on my mind.
So would we all agree that it has a pretty strong pulse?
Yeah.
Cool. Now I'm gonna play another song. I want you to see if you think this is a strong or a weak pulse. Same band.
Yeah, used to think I was fine on my own, yeah. Had a house, but you made it a home. I'll be your light on your darkest day. Just don't love me half of the way. Used to carry the weight of it on, yeah.
How many people think that has a strong pulse? How many people think that has a weak pulse? Okay, can you raise your hands higher? So I like actually can see how many people thought it was a weak pulse. Like raise it like really high so I can actually see. Cool. Yeah, I would say there's also a strong pulse. When you said there's a weak pulse, why did you say that, Alexis?
Because I like couldn't find like.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I could say that. And the people that thought it had a strong pulse, did you feel like you could find the beat pretty easily?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's an interesting thing. Because if you listen to it, I would say it's a strong pulse, but I also would say it's like slightly weak because there's so much syncopation happening.
but you made it home. I'll be your light on the darkest day. Just don't
So it's like,
stop me.
I can see why you would think there's like more of a weak pulse. And then when the drum comes in, it kind of centers it a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
So I
Before
would say kind of both interpretations are somewhat right. That's another point I'll get to later. But now let's talk about all of those are pretty, like percussive parts to them. I want you to listen to the beginning of this, and I want you to think what instrument is giving the pulse in the beginning of this. There's really only one instrument, so what instrument's giving the pulse? Guitar. Right, it's like you can still kind of feel the beat, even though it's more lyrical, it's not as percussive, but it's still giving a pulse. Now I'm going to Spotify. This is just a quick little thing to say, there are songs that can exist kind of without pulse, or really any pulse, and this is a short little one. Let's skip ahead a tiny bit, because there's a vocalist. There is a vocalist. I've listened to this song. There we go. So yeah, it's like there's sort of rhythm, but it's like really kind of off beat and out of time, you know? Does everyone kind of feel that?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. The last thing I'm going to talk about, and that probably, in my opinion, the hardest one to understand, is texture. There's a few different ways we can talk about texture. We can talk about it sort of metaphorically, and I'm going to actually, Mr. Lowell gave me a great idea. He was kind of showing me in the last class, or doing this in the last class. So it's like, you know, he's doing this. Yeah, it's harsh, right? Yeah, but it's like, does everyone hear that kind of like growliness that it sort of has? Like it sounds rough and harsh, right? Yeah. That kind of like can be what texture is. It's kind of like, in a metaphorical sense, that like you can't necessarily touch it, but you can like, it can sound rough or it can sound smooth, things like that. Another good musical example of this, this is a Perfume Genius. It's really just one guy, Mike Hadrius, but I think he uses texture really well. It sort of feels like it's swirling and like undulating, right? There's sort of like a graininess to it too. How many people are hearing that? How many people aren't hearing that? There's like sort of like a graininess to it, like in sort of like swirling motion in those like lower voices. Yeah. So don't feel bad if you excuse me, if you can't hear it right away. This is a pretty hard thing to grasp. What else do I do? Oh, we can also talk about texture in terms of like amounts, like what's going on in the music, and like in terms of like thick or thin. So this is a percussion ensemble piece that this isn't CMU, but this is I played this in college. Let's get going with it. So it starts with like here I would call the texture pretty thin because there's only there's an ocean drum just kind of like giving static and there's just a vibraphone playing. So I would call this texture pretty thin. But then we get later in the piece. It's around here. Here, oh, here we go. So here I would call the texture a lot more thick. Because here there's lots of different kind of like lines moving and doing those different things. So yeah, so it's kind of like what like texture in like a thicker, thin sort of way. It's thin when there's like not a lot going on, it's kind of just spacing stuff. And when there's a lot going on, we can call the texture thicker. With however many C's you want to spell thick. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, and you can also talk about like warm or cold. Listen to this again. This is sort of getting more into like, excuse me, tone color. But I kind of lump that in with texture. It's like, would you say this is warm or cold here? Does it sound warm or cold? How many people think that sounds warm? How many people think that sounds cold? Okay, yeah, and that's another very like, conservative thing. I feel like it sounds warm, but and that's another sort of metaphorical thing, though. We oftentimes we talk about music in metaphorical terms. Okay, the last one, just like you can have pieces without rhythm, you can have pieces that are only texture. So this is me. This is me in my junior recital. I play this really weird snare drum piece. You'll see, it starts, I'm just spinning coins on the snare drum. It's not very bright. So there's no melody, there's no pulse, there's no harmony. But would you, here's another good question. Would you call this music? How many people would not call this music? How many people would call this music? Okay. I would consider it, personally, I would consider it music because they let me do it on the stage for my junior recital. But why do you think that this isn't music? It just isn't. Can you think of any answer deeper than that? Then what is music? Okay. I hear all your answers. I understand them. I do want to challenge you that I believe music can exist without any of those other things. I believe we can just have texture, because that's really all we have with that. You can feel free to, again, this is all talking about all interpretation. If you guys don't feel like this is music, that's your opinion. So real quick thing to end, sort of round out this lesson. I'm just going to play some other pieces and ask some more questions. We're going to go back to our old friend Jacob Collier, but just not an 8-minute song. We're almost done. So what's providing the rhythm here, the pulse?
In every sea there's a mountain.
The guitar? Yeah.
Where waterfalls
What's providing the harmony here?
Why do they
Well,
cry?
I would say the voice is doing the melody, wouldn't it? So what's doing the harmony here? Oh, that's things going on here. So the voice isn't what's providing the harmony, what's providing the harmony. Yeah, the guitar. Okay. Oh, would you call this texture, does this piece feel warm or cold to you?
Well, I'm wearing a jacket, so I feel warm.
Okay, but we are talking about it in metaphorical terms. So I would call this, it sounds kind of warm, it sounds kind of mellow, it sounds like being wrapped in a blanket or wearing a jacket. Okay. Next one. Song is a strong or weak pulse? Strong. What instruments are providing it? Drums. I would say there's another instrument also providing a pulse. Piano. Yeah, piano. Awesome. Yeah. This is the last one. This is kind of a weird piece, so be ready. It's still a rhythm though, so you'll see. This is the credits for all the people that performed it. This is by composer Steve Reich, or Reich, I forget which it is. We might talk about him later, but so would you say there's a strong pulse in this piece? How many people think there's a strong pulse? How many people think there's a weak pulse? Why do you feel like it's a weak pulse? Because it's kind of like swirling your around. I sort of see what you're saying. Those of you that said that there was a strong pulse, why did you say that? Yeah, it's like very constant, right? Right. I believe that there's a kind of strong pulse here because it is that very I hear that sort of constant thing. We can end there. Yeah. Excuse me. But all that to say, so we all kind of excuse me, felt different things about the music, right? Yeah. We kind of saw. Even though we were all talking about the same things, we still heard different things. I just want to say, that's okay. We're talking about interpretation. Part of interpretation is having your own opinion. I'm going to give you guys, that's kind of the end of the lesson, I'm going to give you guys one really teeny tiny assignment. I want you, in the next, preferably before next Wednesday, I want you to get me a song that you like. A song that you like.
Does it have to be appropriate, like school appropriate?
Yeah, yes. Because I'm going to play it in front of the class. We might not get to all of them, but I want to play some. So just give me a song, and we're going to sort of talk about some of these questions or something. Can we do that before next Wednesday?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Any song you want. I don't care if it's. I don't really care. Yes.
How are we going to get it to?
You can just
Yes.
Tell me the name, write the name down, something. Oh, email. You can just email it to me if you have a link to a YouTube or something. You can email it to me at that's an N Thomas at nvps.net. So if you want to email that to me, that's perfectly okay. However you want to get it to me, I'm cool with. I just want a song from you. Any other questions? Awesome. Thank you all. That is it.